Mark. Yeah, go ahead, Mark.
Thank you, Mr. President. I still look at myself as a member of this fire department. I just recently retired, 30 years. One of my favorite sayings is, if you're going to lie about me, I'm going to start telling the truth about you. And I think it's time. You know, I'm not an employee here anymore, so let's talk about some of these things that the opportunities that Mr. McGrath spoke of were certainly there, but the opportunities only presented themselves to allow the mayor and the newspaper to discredit those firefighters that serve this city by publishing incorrect information and putting it out there. And now everywhere you go, everybody says, oh, you only work 50 days a year, you take 24 hours off, you only get charged 8 hours of sick leave. And I think Mr. Burkhardt, you and myself have had that discussion. So let's go into the FHT, the sick leave. We do only get charged 8 hours of sick leave. But the reason is, we only get 8 hours of sick leave for a 24-hour day. That's why they charge 8 hours. If you go for the hour, they take 0.33 hours. They divide that 8 up into 24. The reason they give you 8 is interesting, so that when you retire, you get everything else that the rest of the city workers get. When someone retires, they get 100 days sick leave paid off. Well, the fire department gets 100 days also. But you know what? They get 108-hour days instead of a 24-hour day, which they probably should get. If they banked 100 24-hour days, they get paid 108-hour days. This is a manipulation of the system that we never appreciated, and we have told them time and time again that it's wrong and you're setting the department up for failure. No, no, we would never do that. Now it comes back to haunt us. And nobody stands up to tell the truth on this. And it just baffles me to no end that nobody ever wants to ask the other question. They'll throw these sensational things out there, and the mayor knows it. And he sits there and he knows it. And they all know that. If they don't, they should. And if they don't, they should be removed from office. Those things are being used to discredit the fire department. This FHT was this administration's idea with Mr. Roth here. I'm going to tell you some things, because I sat there. I was the one that negotiated these contracts. This is something they wanted. We never wanted this. Because I was always the impression, let these guys take their days off. No, no, we're going to pay them for that time rather than take the time off. Because you know why? We haven't hired enough people. And if we don't start paying them for the time they need, we have to pay overtime, and we can't do that. So we're going to pay them at that lower rate. I told them, I told the mayor, this is probably against FLSA law. It probably still is. What they're doing is not correct. Told them that time and time again. Nobody cared. It's saving them money. They weren't hiring. I told Mr. Rothgary, we can have this discussion. You can hook us all up to lie detector machines here. And let's see what really happened here. You didn't hire, and I told you. And I believe I even had that discussion in the mayor's office with the mayor. You're setting us up for failure. No, no, we'd never do that. We're just in a bind here. It's easier to pay overtime than to hire people. And I told them time and time again, you pay overtime, you're throwing your money out the window. You use that same amount of money to hire an employee, you're giving the citizens something for their money. You pay that overtime, you're throwing it out the window. No, well, no, we have to do that. It's cheaper to hire. It's cheaper to pay overtime than to hire. It's not true. Those are some of the facts. Now the fire department has been discredited. Because once that genie comes out of the bottle, once you say things that aren't correct, and I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt here. Maybe you know, maybe you were given the wrong information, But nobody has ever asked the other question. Nobody has ever sat down and said, okay, maybe you have a point, let's look at these things. Or how did we get there? Who's responsible for getting you there? It's not us. Let's ask the people that were in charge. You, as a matter of fact, council voted for all of these things through contractual negotiations. You had the ultimate goal. But most of these things came directly from this mayor, and I never dealt with Mr. Eichenhoff, I dealt with Mr. Rothgary. Bring him in and let's discuss it sometime. If you ever want to know the truth is out there, but nobody is asking the extra question. Opportunities, yeah, there's a lot of opportunities here. Mr. McGrath, in your last video that I watched several times today, one of your last closing remarks is, the public loves you. Take advantage of it. The public doesn't love us anymore because of the misinterpretation that you put out there. They don't love us anymore because of the things that the Chronicle Telegram has run that are not accurate. The mayor has never stood up and corrected them. You have never stood up and corrected them, and you sit there today and say, well, you think they're right. They're not right. You need to take the time and really look at the whole thing. Sick leave abuse is not there. We get 8 hours. That's why we're charged 8 hours. We only get 8 hours. So that when we cash in, when we retire, we get less than we deserve. And that's the deal that was made. And they were told, this is going to hurt us in the long run. No, we'll never do that. Well, and now it's back to haunt us. Exactly what I told them was going to happen, they've done to us. Maybe they waited till I left, because maybe they thought I wouldn't come back. But I'm here to tell you the truth. I have to say that all the members out here today, when you sat there and said, you know, I don't understand why they give them 1 hour in today's society with drugs and alcohol, that was a direct insult to every member here. I could go on and on, but I'm here to tell you, if you want to ever know the truth, it's out there, just ask. There's a whole lot more to this story than's being told. The public's coming back around. The fire department will be here forever. And when they're here, they will rise again to the status that they deserve. This administration won't be here forever. Long after this administration is gone, there will be another one. But this fire department will still be there, and they will still be serving the citizens. They devote their whole life, rather than an elected official who just, you know, it's kind of a hobby sometimes, 4, 6, 8 years, whatever. Let this chief do his job. Let these men do their job. All the decisions that are made, that ladder truck, everything is the right decision. Let them do their job. Don't let the mayor run the fire department. Let him run the city. We have enough problems in the city rather than micromanaging this fire department. I'm glad there's been some correction in Chief Benton's stature here. He's one of the best chiefs this department will ever have. And to come out, boy, front page of the paper, there it is, discredit us. They love you. They don't love us anymore. You told them that they had a chief that was incompetent. The whole solution could be put them on 40 hours. I bet everybody in here would say, okay, put me on the same schedule the cops are. We won't do any of these crazy things anymore. We won't do any of this crazy scheduling. You can't afford to do that. These guys work too long. They work too many hours. It's time they get the recognition they deserve. They will get this public support that they deserve, because the public will end up seeing through all of this BS that's being put out there to discredit them. Anything that I said here today, let's bring all the parties involved and talk about it. Hook me up to that lie detector, because I'm going to tell you the truth. And a lot of people in here right now aren't telling you the whole truth.
Okay, does anybody else from the fire department want to have anything to say? If not,